welcome Ashley.
Hi, Mandy Joe. Thanks for having me here.
Ashley is going to be one of our authors at the Fall Book Festival, which is taking place October 18th at the historic Greer Depot in downtown Greer, South Carolina. Ashley, welcome and tell us about the books that you're going to have with you.
Well, I'm going to have two books with me. I'm going to have my book from last year, which, if anyone is a horror fan, you may or may not have heard about it. It is a Dracula retelling from the perspective of Renfield called Empty Cargo.
Hmm.
It's placed on the Demeter. And
Mm-hmm.
as you can guess, just from the book cover, everything goes terribly wrong. But my other book, which has just been released in April,
Ooh, new book.
If the King Falls.
Okay.
Center a little bit more on the camera. And this book is actually, sorry, trying to find my computer. It's in a weird spot. This book was has just been released in April, and it stars the Dark King, who is on an epic quest to retrieve his diamond heart back from an enemy kingdom. And in order to do
Ooh.
so, he must leave his own country, which is on the brink of destruction, and travel throughout multiple different cities and multiple places that he has never been to before. On this journey, he meets an enchanting sorceress named Radio who warns him that he's going to have to make a choice that can either save himself or destroy everything.
Ooh. So your first book is horror, and the
Yes,
second book is more dark fantasy.
yes.
Awesome. So you've got two. What is next for you in the way of books?
I'm currently working on a sequel to If
Ooh,
the King Falls. The sequel centers around the king's daughters, and I'm currently on about chapter 7 of a
okay.
draft of that. I'm hoping to try to make that a 3 book series. I'm not sure if that's how that's going to end up. That is what I'm hoping for.
Now, you said you're on chapter 7. Are you a plotter or are you a pantser?
I'm a complete pantser.
So you have no idea where that's going.
Yeah, I only have a vague idea. I have, thanks to my cousin, I have partially kind of mapped out parts of the chapters, but even then, they don't follow anything of what I've already written. Like, oh yeah, I wrote notes for this, and you're not at all like the notes I wrote, so why do I bother?
I can understand that. Um, so what got you writing horror and dark fantasy?
um, well, I've been writing horror for a very long time, since I was a teenager. The
Mhm.
fantasy is new, oddly enough. The main character for my new book is based off of the Goblin King from Labyrinth.
Okay.
Well, as I've been explaining this book, in fact, I just had a book signing on Saturday at one of the local bookstores here in Hampton. And as I've been explaining this book to everyone who's been interested in reading it, I've been explaining it as a labyrinth for adults.
I like that.
So that's been the easiest way for me to describe this book.
Mhm.
So
So,
this one is the one that's different for me.
okay.
And it was much more of a challenge for me to write.
How so?
Well, Empty Cargo was easier for me to write, partially because I was basing it off of my own experiences. Um,
Mhm.
when I was a teenager, I was forced against my own will to be on a ship for an entire summer. It was a terrible experience, so a lot of what I wrote in Empty Cargo was, to an extent, firsthand experience. That
Mm.
easier.
Mhm.
But for If the King Falls, it was just entirely my imagination, which that was interesting, but it also made it a challenge of like, okay, how am I going to describe a castle moving on its own? Like, how do you describe a castle throwing a temper tantrum? Oh
Mm,
yeah, it starts throwing bricks at its owner. Oh, this is ridiculous. Funny, but ridiculous.
true. Interesting. So, how did you get on a ship for a summer against your
um,
will? Do you care
my
to share about
parents,
that?
my parents, they knew. Well, particularly my mother knew the captain of the ship. It's not a very good story, unfortunately. Um, and I had very little say of it. It was not a very well run ship.
Okay.
Yeah, ended
So,
up spending my entire summer on the Great Lakes.
oh,
Yeah.
so you are currently in Virginia. So you're going to be one of our traveling in um, authors. But your bio says you were actually born in Maine. So how did you get from Maine to Virginia?
My parents were military, so I have lived in a whole bunch of different states. I
Oh.
was born in a town called Ellisworth. So
Hmm.
my parents were actually stationed on an island called Jonesport. If you've ever read the book Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King, that's Jonesport, Maine.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's the island of Jonesport. That is where my parents were stationed. I ended up moving in with my mother when I was 18, and she was stationed here in Virginia, so that's how I ended up here.
Ah, okay. And you have a husband and pets.
Yes, multiple pets.
What kind of pets do we have? I met the one earlier.
Yes. Currently, I have multiple cats, two dogs, and a snake.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And the snake. Interesting. What do the other pets think of the snake?
Oddly enough, the two dogs completely love Vicky. Every time she's out of her cage, they have to sit right next to her, and she just kind of stares at them, which is hilarious because I never thought that a ball python would be best friends with a husky and a beagle.
Okay.
For some bizarre reason, they are the dogs love the python. I'll never understand why, and I know it would
Hmm,
never happen in the wild, but for some bizarre reason, it happens in my house.
that's true. Very interesting. So you've got two dogs,
Hmm.
a snake, and a couple of cats.
Yep.
Awesome. And a husband thrown in there for good measure.
The husband is part of why we have so many animals.
Oh, animal lover. That's
Hmm.
always a good thing. So, where do you see your writing going in the future? You've got the one series started. Do you see other series, other singles staying within your genre, or are there other genres that you want to explore?
I see myself primarily staying um within like horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. Um,
Okay.
I do have a submission that I also placed with my current publisher, Alien Buddha, for a short story that is going to be part of their House of Horrors contest later this fall.
Ooh, nice.
So I do see myself staying within those three genres, partially because I'm not good at writing romance. There's certain things I know I'm not good at, and I will not try.
I completely understand. Romance is a very different genre and best, there's certain areas it's like, okay, we'll do closed door romance, but
I honestly, I was a little bit surprised when I wrote. If the King Falls, and it ended up with as many spicy scenes as it did. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't normally write that way, and even then, like, yes, it's dark fantasy, but it's still very adult. And I was like, oh, okay, well, although I did end up presenting one of the characters for that. Like, yeah, you just ever write one of the characters, and it's like she becomes so integral to the plot line, but you just hate her so much.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like I hate this character, even though I created it.
So is that character going to make it in book 2 or book 3?
No, she does not.
Kill that character off. Well, awesome. What other areas are you doing book signings in? Because Greer, South Carolina is a little bit of a distance from Virginia.
Um, Next week I will be in Richmond, Virginia for Pride Con. I'm also going to be at the Tidewater Horror Con in Virginia Beach in September. Those are the only other two events that I have that are certain of right now.
Hmm.
And I have a couple of events I'm waiting to hear back from in the future that may or may not happen.
Yeah. Do you like doing outdoor events or do you primarily stick with indoor events?
For right now, I've primarily been sticking to indoor events. It depends on where I'm at. I mean, I find indoor events a little bit easier.
Hmm. They are. Well, awesome. This has been great getting to know you, and I look forward to meeting you in person in October in South Carolina.
Cannot wait. And fortunately, there will be no furballs joining us that time.
Yeah.
they
Indoor events don't do too well with fur balls.
No, they do not. No, they will have a babysitter.
Well, I will see you in October. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.